there's something weird with my audio. I'm only gonna come out of your left ear for some reason. Oh. Now it should be better. I hope that that's better. Maybe it is. Ooh, that should do it. There we are. Hello everybody, I'm coming on. Let's do this. Hopefully this is the right one. Let me see the button. Nope. Oh my god, my brain is just dead today. I'm sorry everybody. There I am. I hope this is the right one. That's it. Is that correct? Where's my music? There I am. Hello, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Hello, Alejandra. Hello, Gabrielle. Hello, Joel. Hello, Lily Hazelide, Lewis, Adrian, Rob, Chief Dancing Ostrich, Joel, and Valisak. Why do I always say that wrong? Joel, by the way, thank you for sending me that message on Twitter. I did get that DM. I did block them, and I did report them, so hopefully that should all be good. So I appreciate that. Did I cut my hair, Jessie? No, I actually did not. I am actually thinking about doing it soon, though. I'll discuss that with you all in a second. Is Newt here? Hi, Newt. Hi. Do you want to come and say hi? Newt's here, everybody. Hello. Come on, come and say hi to everyone. No, you're just gonna hang out right there? Oh, hello. Come here. Also, I did see I had a super chat, so I will make sure I get that in a second. Come here, bud. Come on, hop up. Come and say hi. Come and say hi. Or are you just gonna hang out down there? Alright, I gotta do the sing thing. Hey there, my cat, jump on my lap. And be a cat up here now. Yes, now you come and be with me. Oh my, there you go. There he is. Say hello, everybody. Here he is. Hey, Newt, say hi. Look. No, not at me. I guess the noise that I just made did come from my mouth. Never mind. But Newt is here. Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the weekly chat stream, where for about an hour or so, I just hang out and talk with all of you about whatever you want to talk about. Everyone is saying that... Why is everyone saying, did I get my hair colored and stuff? No, I didn't. So I did get a little hair, like a blue streak dyed, but that was like 2 months ago? It was a decent amount of time ago, so it's been in a few videos and things like that, and people are just now noticing. But I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this. I'm thinking of possibly, I'm going to go back to the half-shaved look like I've had before. Not as deep down as I've done before, but a half-shaved look. And I'm thinking possibly I might dye my hair all silver with a streak of blue in it. I think that might be kind of fun, like a half-shaved, silver hair, still long, but silver hair, streak of blue, like a stark streak of blue. That might be kind of fun to do. I don't know because I've never dyed my hair all silver before, so it might be a bit much, but it might be a lot of fun. I think that'd be kind of a cool idea. We'll see what I think about it. I'm sort of debating on it, and we'll ultimately see how it comes out. By the way, let me get to the super chat. And by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, this is the weekly chat stream. Like I said, we're for about an hour. I talk with you about whatever you want. I do give hearts for super chats and answer your super chat questions. So if you give me a super chat, I give you a heart and say thank you for supporting me doing what I do. But if you don't give a super chat, I also try to pay attention as best I can to the ongoing chat and respond to everybody. I'm going to miss stuff here and there, but I do try to give everyone at least some attention as best I can. But like I said, super chats are appreciated. Let me quick answer that. Oh, Sarah, good to see you. And yes, someone was asking Black Cover 95. I'll talk about that towards the end of the stream. My Matt Walsh video is coming out tomorrow, which is also partially why I'm stressed today, because some patron, who I'm not going to name because I don't know if they're okay with that or not, but they actually had a good criticism of the video that I just wanted to make sure I fix. So I've been sort of rushing to get the video fixed. There was a minor but important note in the video that I wanted to make sure got corrected. So I'm literally, as we are sitting here, re-uploading the video right now. So patrons, you'll have the corrected version later tonight, and then the same version will be up for everybody tomorrow. But I'm very excited about the video. It's 4 hours. But I'm very proud of it overall. Sam JB, heart to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your super set. It said, hi, Jessie. Happy. No, Newt, don't go. No. No. Sorry, bud. I don't think you liked me clapping. Happy Friday, Junior. Have you. I like that. I'm going to start referring to Thursday as Friday, Junior. That's perfect. Have you started thinking about Halloween costumes yet? No. Just because I don't know what I'm doing for Halloween yet. Hopefully I'll go to a party and stuff like that. I have a few friends here. We'll see what I ultimately doing. You know what might be fun to do? 7 of 9. So just to let everyone know, I have a 7 of 9 cosplay, like the silver catsuit 7 of 9 with like the Borg eyepiece. I don't have the Borg hand thing, but I have the Borg eyepiece. And the silver catsuit that she has. And I bought it because I bought it actually about a year ago when I first wrote my Sex and Star Trek video, because I thought I was going to make all of my Sex and Star Trek videos one right after the other. But then I realized they ballooned into their own big project, so each series is going to be its own huge thing. So I have the idea for the visuals of my Star Trek Voyager video, a Sex and Star Trek Voyager, and I was going to do that cosplay for that video, but I have not gotten around to actually using it yet. So I own it, but I haven't used it yet. So that might be fun. Might be fun to do. But I see some other super chats. And yeah, people are asking about the Matt Walsh video. So yes, tomorrow, just to let everyone know, I'm going to announce it because I am very proud of it. Tomorrow I have a 4-hour video, 4 hours, coming out about Matt Walsh called The Unending Lies of Matt Walsh. And what the video is about, the project started off, and it is mostly 90% focused on debunking his film What is a Woman. I did a part 1 video already, and that video is mostly on the framing of the video, basically how the video is all about just starts on the assumption of not earnest exploration of exploring what gender means, of what transness means, anything like that. It comes from the already built assumption of trying to filter his biases to his audience that already wish to sell it, or already wish to buy, selling his biases to his audience that already wish to buy it, instead of actually starting from a place of earnest investigation. But the video tomorrow is going to be literally going through and debunking all of the arguments that he makes in the video and showcasing what those arguments are all in service of, which, hint, it's fascism. Yeah, I'm very proud of the video. I hope it's fun. I hope it's a good time. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Know Someone Awesome, and I'm sorry, I'm missing some super chats. I'll get to them in a second, but Know Someone Awesome. I saw that Rusty Quill put something out on their, Magnus Archives stream, or Magnus Archives podcast feed, but I have not seen what they've been doing on Twitter, so I will have to check that out. I'll check it out in a second. Let me get catch up on this. Let me see what I've got for super chats here, because I want to make sure I don't miss him. Estro Jennifer, is that hard to use? Said, do you like King Gizzard or the Lizard Wizard? Are those things? King Gizzard, or is that you're just saying names? Because I think Lizard Wizard is more fun. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Do you like? Oh, they're a band, an Australian rock band. I think suffice to say, considering my response, that I don't like or dislike them because I've never heard of them. They sound nice. The name alone is wonderful. Oh, I love that. I will check them out. Thank you. But yeah, no, I didn't know them. So, but thank you for the super chat. You said, Chloe, I'm sorry. No, I haven't. I need to watch it, and I'm sorry. I'm an embarrassment to you, Chloe. I am very sorry. You must be frustrated with me. I was in a spooky thing this weekend. I will watch it. I swear. And I'm sorry, Chloe. Keep shaming me, please, continually. I am sorry about that. Adrian, I could have cured my cancer with cannabis. I'm sorry, Adrian, that if your dad has cancer. My dad also has. He had cancer. Thankfully, he got rid of it. It was. Oh God, why am I blanking on it? The butt one. Sorry to be flippant. Prostate cancer. Jesus. The butt one. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm so sorry, Adrian, about that. And I don't think cannabis could cure cancer, unfortunately. But I am sorry about your dad, and I know it would help generally too. So, let's see. Tommy, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, Jesse, go as a conservative for Halloween, the most scary costume ever. Just make sure it's sexy because all lady costumes need to be sexy. Sexy conservative. Is that... I feel like those are an oxymoron in terms. Like, I don't think you can have a sexy conservative because, like, conservatism inherently is unsexy. Like you could have the most... I don't even know if you can... Like, I hate the word objectively beautiful because there's no such thing as objective beauty. But anyways... For sake of argument, you could have the most objectively beautiful person in the world, like, exist in front of me. And then they go, hi, I'm a conservative. And I would be like, oh, okay. Yeah. Bye. See you. So, yeah, it's an inherently unsexy thing, unfortunately. Or fortunately. I don't even know how you would even phrase it. But anywho... conventionally beautiful, that's probably the best way to put it, Lewis. So, you also have to watch The Boys. Thank you, Chloe. Heart to you. Thank you so much. Oh, Newt, you back? Hi. Hello again. You back? No, you want to go up on the computer. No. Love you, bud. No, you're not going on the computer. I don't like, especially when I'm streaming, because then you can screw up all the wires, and you might knock over the screen. Yes, you might. You've done it before. You've knocked it over on Mommy while she's been editing, and then she had to redo the entire, 10 minutes of her video that she had been editing. Yes, she did. You lovely little cat. You. Anywho. Sorry. Smexy, all the skin when it comes to Halloween. Yeah, I mean... I've never actually worn a sexy Halloween costume. I've always been more nerdy than sexy. Not that you can't be nerdy and sexy, but I've always leaned on nerdy rather than leaning on sexy for Halloween. So maybe this is the year to do sexy. So, I also, for some reason, I don't, despite what I show in my videos, when I'm out and about, I'm actually not as comfortable showing skin as I am in videos. In videos, I'm actually much more comfortable showing skin because I can be very clear about my presentation, but I actually don't wear, midriff shirts or even, swimsuits or things all that much just because, I don't know, I'm not, a skin-showing person out in the real world. Videos less so because, again, I can, very clearly put myself together, so. Let's see. Hey, Jesse, ask me sometime what I dressed up as in freshman year of high school and I won first place. I'll ask you right now. What did you dress up as in your freshman year of high school, NCC 1701, Chris? I'd love to know. Oh, God. Oh, also, speaking of which, B. Parker, you convinced me to start watching Farscape. Hell yes. I am very glad for that. Farscape is amazing. You should check out both my podcast that I did with Vera on it. As well as the wonderful podcast by Sarah, who I don't know if Sarah's still in the chat. Sarah, check out Sarah's podcast, but also... I'm sorry, Newt. I'm sorry. I quite literally just got an email. Oh, that makes me very happy. I just got the screener for the last two episodes. Star Trek Lower Decks? Last two episodes! I'm very excited. Sorry. I can't share anything about that because I get in trouble, but I literally just got the email for the Star Trek Lower Decks final two episodes. They just sent me the screeners. Literally as we were sitting here. So, guess what my weekend is now? Is going to be watching and reviewing those. So... That's exciting. That just made my absolute night right now. Anywho, going to be watching those. Look at me, I'm all fancy. I get screeners. But then I have to immediately monetize it because I have to I'll record my reviews this weekend. Jesse Ditter, what are our costumes recommendations Halloween for trans girls who have still not publicly transitioned? Ooh, interesting question. Well, it depends on what you can get away with. Aaron Soon. Ooh, I would love that, Sarah. And Aaron Soon, ooh, that's a good idea, Sarah. I'd have to figure out how to do that, but that's really cool. I love that idea, and heart to you, Sarah. Costume recommendations. I mean, it depends, because what's fun about Halloween is you might be able to get away with stuff that you normally wouldn't elsewise, and it also might be a good way to test the waters of your of how people around you deal with social with what they would deem maybe cross-gender presentations or different gender presentations. It's sort of an interesting way to like test the waters on that. But then also it's about safety, and so like if you're not feeling safe doing that sort of thing, totally understand that as well. So I don't know, maybe a more mask presenting woman character like Erin Sun would actually be great. For those of you who don't know, Erin Sun is one of the female leads of Farscape, and her costume, she's like a very kind of she starts off very military. She is militaristic throughout the whole thing, but she's like a very like warrior, like badass woman sort of character. So she has a much more masculine presentation throughout the entire series. Or maybe mask presenting is the best way to put it. And so maybe a character like that would be great. Character like Jadzia Dax from Deep Space Nine would also be kind of fun too. That's also relatively simple. So you just have to do like a Starfleet uniform and then the Trill spots. And then like you could get away with saying like, hey, if you're someone you're not comfortable with, say, hey, I'm just a Trill from Star Trek. But if there's someone like you're comfortable around saying that you're playing a female character for Halloween, say I'm Jadzia Dax. That might be also a fun idea. We could also do like characters that have ambiguous presentation, like Pinhead would be kind of fun if you can get a Pinhead costume, because Pin has been played by a trans woman recently, but also, has always had a very ambiguous gender presentation. Those are always kind of fun. Ellen Ripley is also really cool, would be a good one. So yeah, there's a bunch of good options that I think you could do for all of that. Chloe Hearts, don't forget, you also had to binge the entire Chucky franchise minus the remake. Maybe you can make a video essay out of it. Yeah, I do want to. Here's the thing. My brain, there's a few franchises that I want to watch. Like, I have not watched all of Hellraiser. I have not watched all of Chucky. And there's a part of me that wants to sit down and do a binge of all those movies. But then I'm also like, but if I do that, I kind of want to make a video about it. And then I'm like, oh, and now I don't want to make, like, I want to make a video, but I also don't want to do the work just yet to make a video. So it's a long debate that I constantly have. It's like, oh, I want to watch these videos, but also if I do that, I have to put my analyzing cap on. So there's that whole thing. Ooh, Carmen Sandiego is really good too. Also, why are the cops constantly? I'm apologize if there's like cops right outside my window. It's been kind of annoying. Ugh. Anyways, we'll put cops aside. I mean, I don't like cops in general, but they've been actively frustrating in just my neighborhood for very petty reasons. I mean, cops in general are worse for much worse reasons. But for very petty reasons, I've been very frustrated because they've been racing up and down the street late at night, making a lot of noise. And I know it's the cops because I went out for a walk late one night the other night, and I was just walking by, and a cop just went speeding by. It's a 30-mile-per-hour area, and they didn't have their lights on or anything. They just were going literally 50 or 60 on the street, and it was making me very upset and angry because it's like, they're clearly just abusing their power and not actually paying attention to the road signs. They think they can do that because they're police officers. Because if they did have a reason for it, they'd have their sirens on, which they didn't. So yeah, frustrating. Anywho, very petty reason to hate cops. There are much worse reasons, or much better reasons, I should say, to hate cops. But that's my petty one of the day. They abuse their power in small ways. Pinhead is now a Disney princess. Joshua, I guess that's true because Hellraiser is owned by Hulu or Fox now. Fox, which is now Disney. It's not inaccurate. Not inaccurate at all. You're correct, Joshua. Heart to you. As well as everything by Anne Rice. Yes. So, by the way, people have been asking me. I have not done reviews of it. I don't recommend Hellraiser. Chloe, heart to you, by the way. Vera said, don't watch anything past Hellraiser 2. And watch, like, Hellraiser 1, Hellraiser 2, and Hellraiser the remake. But for me, I'm a completionist, and I have to watch all of them. That's just how it would be. I was just about to say something, but I completely forgot now because I saw that. I saw your message. What was I going to say? Did anyone remember what I was just about to hear? What I was just about to talk about? It was going to be something I'm sure it was going to be something interesting. Like, super interesting. What was I just about to say? Oh, Interview with the Vampire. Thank you, B. Parker. People were asking me to review Interview with the Vampire that's been airing on AMC. I have been watching it, and I have been loving it. And that is from the perspective of someone who has seen... I've seen the movie version of Interview with the Vampire. Actually, I have not read Anne Rice's books, though I actually bought the first book on Audible. So I'm going to probably be listening to it very soon. So the reason I have not done reviews of it is just because there's so many shows that I'm reviewing right now. I mean, She-Hulk just wrapped up. Lord of the Rings is going to wrap up tonight. I've been reviewing Star Wars Andor, Star Trek Lower Decks, House of the Dragon. So there's just been too many shows that I've been reviewing. But I have been watching it. So I might, now that She-Hulk and Lord of the Rings have finished, I might do like a video that's like, oh, here's my review of the first 3 or 4 episodes and then continue on from there. But the reviews would be interesting because it'd be from the perspective of someone who has not read the books, which might be an interesting way to review them. But I will say, if you have not watched Interview with the Vampire, the new show on AMC, I have been loving it. I think it's been fantastic. Without spoilers for you, this is like the opening conceit of the show, so this is not a spoiler. The way that the show works is that the interview that was done with the vampire, the titular interview with the vampire that was done in the books, actually happened already in the world of the show. And so this show takes place years later, where the interviewer goes back to Louis to re-interview him because Louis says, well, the interview I initially gave you was not great, and I found them lacking. So the show is him retelling the story, but they have both had the context of the original interview, so the interviewer can sort of challenge Louis about, like, you didn't say that before. And so it not only creates this unreliable narrator, which even the first book had, but also a contrast for how time and biases and memory shape how a story is told and how it affects how a story is told. So I think it's really great. Also, it's very, very explicitly gay and bisexual, which is awesome. I am not the best person to analyze this aspect of it, but I think it handles the race aspect of it because they made Louis a black man and also a pimp as well. And I think that they've been handling that aspect of the show surprisingly well. I've been very impressed. I've been very impressed with the show so far. So if you have not checked it out, I will highly recommend the show. At least as so far as having seen the first, I think, 3 episodes is where I'm at right now. So how many's been released. Hard to you, Joshua Edwards. You said, whose head is further up their backside, Kevin or Kevin Feige? You're referring to the ending of She-Hulk. I don't want to spoil the ending of She-Hulk. I love the ending of She-Hulk. So, no, I'll try to stay spoiler-free for the end of She-Hulk, but I'm almost debating making a video about She-Hulk for how much I ended up liking it. Because initially, I was lukewarm on She-Hulk as a show. I think it started off feeling very surface level and, for lack of a better term, girl bossy. Where it was sort of like making these allusions to feminism. Like, in the first episode, Jen sort of says, like, I can control my anger because I'm a woman, and I've been controlling my anger my entire life. And it's like, it's not that those aren't real things, but it felt like it was just sort of putting on this, like, statements and allusions to feminism and how women are treated without, like, doing the work to really showcase it, but just sort of, like, doing this pop feminism. Like, yeah, women face horrible stuff. And have, like, men coming up to her to, like, hit on her and treat her badly, which, again, happens, but it was, like, 2 or 3 episodes of that, like, every single episode that happened, and it was just sort of, like, this surface level, surface level, like, white feminist, sort of, very, mainstream-esque view of it that was sort of, like, very presentational and not actually doing a lot of, like, critical work about what feminism means in everyday life. But that being said, green feminism, exactly, Adrian. But that being said, as the show has gone along, it dipped in like the middle of the show, I kind of was like episodes 4 or 5. But the last 3 or 4 episodes, I will be very honest, I have absolutely really loved, because I feel like it has opened up and been much more vulnerable and honest, and with the character of Jen, and as a result has allowed the show to not just give the veneer of, like, yeah, girls, like, can face men too sort of feeling, and actually showcase that with depth and nuance, while still not shying away from that, but still actually, like, having a more earnest discussion that came from a true place that I felt like the show has evolved into. And I've really liked it quite a lot. And it, like, for example, like Daredevil, who appeared in the penultimate episode, they like highlighted him as the romance option for Jen in a way that like sexualized him but didn't deny his agency as a hero and as a character. And I really liked that because it allowed like for that sexualization of a man to occur more naturally while still allowing his agency as a character in it, which is how we should be like framing sexuality of both men and women. It's not, in movies and television, it's not a bad thing inherently to sexually desire men or women, or to show men or women being sexy, though we shouldn't just reinforce stereotypical conventionally attractive gender norms, but that's a different discussion for a different day. But to allow us to let people still have agency within discussions, let the discussions of someone's agency change, have perspectives change on how we view people as sexy, have a man view a girl as sexy and a girl view a man as sexy within a work, I think is great. I really loved it. And so I don't think She-Hulk is like a 10 out of 10 show, and I think it definitely was rougher at the beginning and especially in the middle, but the ending of the show, without spoiling the finale, which I think was great, I think was a really, really, really great show overall. I think it's a really, I think if you haven't checked out She-Hulk, I will sort of say it's rough at the beginning, but if you stick with it, I think it really gets better towards the end. So yeah, I think it was great. So it is the same Daredevil. Well, we don't 100%. It's the same Daredevil actor from Netflix, and the illusions are that it's the same Daredevil from the Netflix series. There's been talk of possibly a soft reboot. Who knows at this point? We won't really know until probably the Daredevil show that's supposed to come out in a year and a half or something like that. So by that point we might know. But at the moment, it's the same actor, and it was great to see him. So, and I love Charlie Cox. He's fantastic. Heart to you, you said, Chloe, you said, I recommend 3 and 4, Hellraiser 3 and 4, but you need to read the script before to get the full picture because a certain studio messed with the production. I mean, that sounds about right. Everyone, that's what Vera said. Vera said, only see Hellraiser 1 and 2, and then the reboot, but she said, for me, because I'm a completionist, go see 3 and 4, because they're still interesting, but you can also see, where they were going in terms of quality. But again, for me, if I want to watch something, I'm going to watch all of it. So I will watch the Hellraiser movies. I'm just going to watch all of them at some point. I will suffer for you. That is my kink. Suffering for videos. Let's see. Hard to you, Freddie. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, might resurrect my costume for the narrator from Rocky Horror for Halloween for my high school cabaret. Add in some makeup and jewelry. Oh, that's a fun one. That's a really fun costume, Freddie. I love that. The narrator from Rocky Horror. That'd be a good time. I would love to see that. That would be fantastic. NCC 1701 Chris, did you say, did I miss your, because I know I asked you what your costume was, and apologies if I missed it. I just missed it in the chat. If you post it again, I'll see it because I see someone tagging you. It is a monetizable kink. It's a very monetizable kink. If we're gonna do kinky, might as well do it for the videos, Already watched. No, I haven't seen the newest Hellraiser, David R. I haven't seen it. I want to watch it yet, but. Cryptid Joe, hey Jessie, have you ever heard of the SCP Foundation? Yes, I have. And if so, what do you think of it? Just for context, if you don't know, it's a creative writing community. I haven't read a lot of the SCP Foundation stuff specifically, but I do know of the SCP Foundation and some of the videos that they've done and stuff, or that have been done on it. But I love the concept. I mean, Magnus Archives, to a degree, is kind of SCP Foundation-esque. One of my favorite video games, Control, is very SCP Foundation-esque. These, Eldritch Horror kind of objects that have mysterious stuff behind them. I think Control is one of my very least top 20 video games of all time. Might be in the 10. I'd have to sit down and make the list. But it's definitely in, the top 20. And it is very SCP Foundation. I love Control. Control, if you want a great game, it's weird, it's strange, the gameplay is awesome, it's creepy as all hell, has some of the most cathartic, coolest moments in gaming, I think. The maze section, if you know what I'm talking about when I say the maze section of that game, amazing. Control is amazing. Also the sound direction in Control. Oh, the sound of the hiss in Control is so terrifying, especially if you're playing with headphones. Oh, it's so good. I love it. I love it so much. Go check out. If you have not played Control, play Control. It is so good. It is so good. Cyberquaker, hard to you. You said, well, the first 2 Hellraiser movies are the only good ones. 3 and 4 are worth watching. 3 has just see it from... Okay. I'm here for Terry. In fact, I think I remember that. Like that Terry Farrell was on Hellraiser 3 before Deep Space Nine. That's kind of actually what got her into Deep Space Nine. 5 and 8 are terrible STV movies that started as spec scripts. Well, I heard the 8th Hellraiser movie is literally a movie that they just sort of plopped a Pinhead into it just so they could keep the Pinhead rights. That it wasn't even a Hellraiser movie until they just like threw Pinhead into it. So yeah, it sounds like that franchise went downhill fast, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating as a thing. Sinister Intelligence Heart to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, hello, Jessie. I'm having issues sending in my super chats. It's telling me message not sent and then try again. I wish I could be on your show. Oh, well, Sinister, thank you so much for your super chat. I'm glad that it looks like it actually made it through. Yeah, super chats are weird. Sometimes, like, you have to pay more to get more words. So if that's the problem, you have to, like, edit it down or something. It only allows, like, a specific amount of words for how much money you're spending. So sorry about that. Generally, if, like I said, I try to pay attention to the chat, and super chats are appreciated, but I try to pay attention to chat anyways. So if it's a thing you don't want to spend more money, like, just at me. Like, I should say, please, super chats are appreciated. But also, if you want me to see something that you want me to, like, if there's something you definitely want me to see, I'm more likely to see if you at me in the chat because it highlights it orange for me. So if there's something you want to say specifically to me, at me in it, and I'll probably be more likely to see it. Can't guarantee I'll see it, but I will be more likely to. So, Mr. Krabs, heart to you said, hey, Jessie, have you Eevee ever, I'm assuming you said, I assume you mean ever played, not Eevee played, because Eevee is a wonderful Pokemon, played the Oddworld game because they have strong political message of anti-capitalist environment. No, I have not played the Oddworld games, but I know of them. They seemed like my vibe, but then I looked at the gameplay, and there was, like, the review for the latest Oddworld game, which is apparently, like, I was actually thinking about getting into the latest one, but I heard that it was only okay, and I had, like, other games coming out at the time, so I didn't really get too much into it. But I should check them out, because especially if you say they're anti-capitalist, environmentalist, because, like, I'm here for that. But yeah, I haven't played them yet, so. I will say, randomly, stay home, I see your super chat, just so you know. I will say I beat Bloodborne this weekend for the first time. I'm going to say Orphan of Kos is a jerk, and I hate that jerk. It took me forever to beat Orphan of Kos. But I did officially beat Bloodborne completely and totally for the first time this weekend. And now I'm going to say I'm rather proud of myself. At the beginning of 2022, I have never played a single FromSoft game in my life, not a single one. And now I have beaten Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne. So, hell yeah, I'm working my way to Elden Ring, so I got Demon's Souls to beat, Sekiro to beat, and then I'm going to play Elden Ring. So, I'm not going to play them all in order, but I have those 3 games left. And I know there's other ones like King's Cross and other... Kingsfield, sorry. That I want to play. But yeah, I was very proud. I even beat the Moon Presence. Like, I beat the Moon Presence. It was great. To be fair, I didn't find, other than Orphan of Kos, I actually didn't find Bloodborne all that difficult. I think the hardest Dark Souls game for me was 2? Probably Dark Souls 2? Maybe Dark Souls 3, arguably, but I think Dark Souls 2 is actually the hardest FromSoft game that I played. The Ornstein and Smo were a pain and a half. But I think Dark Souls 2 was the hardest one. But Bloodborne I beat... There's some bosses that I even beat Bloodborne on the first try. Like, the Moon Presence I actually beat on my first attempt. So maybe that's just me getting better at the games, but it didn't seem all that difficult, so... David, I would actually recommend I love the Dark Souls games. Dark Souls 1 has now become that is definitely a top 10 video game for me. Having played it just this year, I still think Dark Souls 1 holds up so well. It is phenomenal. But yeah, no, I get it. They are difficult, especially if it's like not your type of game to play. But I do also think that they're much more inclusive than I think you would think. Catherine and Beth, I see your super chat. I will get to it. I need to message you in Discord. Sorry, I've been just dying with work on this Matt Walsh video, so I need to get back to you. So thank you. I'm sorry. You keep messaging me before I forget to respond to you, so apologies. But anyways, what was I saying? Dark Souls 1. I would recommend starting there, because I actually think if you play Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and then Bloodborne, it teaches you it not only weaves you through those games really well, like I think like Dark Souls 3 sets you up really well to go right into Bloodborne because there's kind of a faster pace of a game in Bloodborne, but Dark Souls 3 is kind of contains that faster pace, but it's sort of in the middle. But I also think like Dark Souls 1 teaches you at kind of a slower rate than other games. It's difficult and it's a pain in the butt. And if you get help online and you sort of like learn as you go, I think it's a good learning curve, and I think the journey is really, really worth it. They're not as hard as people think they are, just because I do think there's some accessibility stuff, but I don't think they're like unendingly difficult. If you're willing to grind a little bit too, you can even do some grinding and make it easier for you. If you're willing to do some grind, but overall, I think that they are like more accessible than people think, but they have a big sort of hurdle to like get the feel of before you get in there. Let me catch up on my super chats because I know I missed some. Rewinding a little bit. Stay hump 10 heart to you. Hey JG, which by the way I still love that nickname. Please people start using JG for me. I enjoy that name. My friend made some transphobic tweets today, and when I confronted her about it, she allowed me to educate her. I was able to get through to her. Some people can change. That's amazing, Stay hump. I mean, it's not amazing that your friend did some transphobic tweets, but like that's the thing, right? It's difficult, and I tweeted about this earlier. It's one of those things where it's like I often feel that most people, not everybody, but I feel like most people are not transphobic by nature, but only by what they've been taught and the misinformation that's been spread to them. But then they act on that misinformation to go and attack and harm others because they sort of believe that they're doing right. Like I sort of said in my Matt Walsh video, the video I did on Blair White and Matt Walsh and all that stuff, like the reason people enact harassment and do hate campaigns against like the Boston Children's Hospital, this is not to forgive them, this is just explaining. They believe that they're doing the right thing. They believe that they're doing something righteous. And a lot of it is built on misinformation and false assumptions. And I do generally believe that it is generally possible to talk people out of that stuff if you sit down and talk with them and you're open and empathetic. I do believe that there's ability to do that. The issue is like how much of that emotional energy that we have to give to do, and how open they are to the conversation, because some people aren't. And then also, it's always the reason to educate is almost always placed upon minorities to do that work, to educate, to be the one that's empathetic when the other people are not being empathetic back. When they're not, it should be on them before they go and attack things like the Boston Children's Hospital. It should be on them to do the work to actually educate themselves, to not do these horrific things. But they don't. And so it becomes the work of those marginalized and hurt to have to do the emotional labor and work. And it's rough. Because sometimes it is possible to do that, like with transphobic tweets and someone being open to being educated and learn why, but it also is generally placed upon us to do that work and can place us into harm's way. So it's always that discussion. Like, I mean, I've seen documentaries of people who sat down with neo-Nazis, and were able to change their mind, like ardent neo-Nazis. But the amount of work and danger that puts someone in is too much for everyone to do all at once, you know? You could lead yourself to being killed. They may not be receptive. You may get yourself hurt. It's a lot of emotional labor. It's a lot of time distracted from things that you want to do in your life, you know? So that's always, I think, the emotional balance of needing to be empathetic, but also needing to fight back and protect ourselves first. And that should always be the priority. So yeah, it's a difficult thing. So no apologies to neo-Nazis. Neo-Nazis can go fuck themselves because it should be on them to learn. But it's also that difficult thing. Like, I do believe everyone is changeable, or at least a lot of people are changeable. But it's just the amount of empathy and time and energy that we have to give and danger that we have to put ourselves into, you know? And then also there's the people the grifters that stoke it for their own their own gain. Like, I generally believe that Matt Walsh does not believe half the shit that he puts out into the world, but he does it knowingly because he knows it'll make him money. So yeah, those people can even more go fuck themselves because they do it for the financial incentive, which is why capitalism sucks, because it gives people those financial incentives to stoke these divisions. So yeah, it's a whole discussion on all of that. At Jessie Jenner, my grandpa used to be very transphobic and a bit homophobic, and now he's one of the biggest supporters, and when I recently got my new ID, he asked if I was able to get my MMI license. That's amazing, Tommy. Oh, that's amazing, getting the court order. Oh, that's absolutely great. I'm so glad for that. That's wonderful, Tommy. Heart to you. Let me see. Catching up on some super chats. I know I missed a few already. Catherine Lambeth, heart to you. You said, I hope you're enjoying fall too. Sweaters, apple picking, and Halloween costumes. Yes, my favorite time. Though it is still a bit hot because we're still living in that heat apocalypse right now. Huzzah. But it is still a bit hot. But I have been enjoying that it's been getting colder. It's been good. It's been exciting. This is my favorite time of year. Though I hope in next week it just stays like 60s. Like 60s, 70s. My ideal temperature. Because it's like chilly enough to wear a sweatshirt, but not so chilly that you don't want to be outside. It's a good temp. It's a good temperature. Thomas, heart to you. Have you played any of the Myst games? No. Mostly because I had a bad experience as a kid. My dad got me Myst when I was a young kid. I put in the disc and started playing it. Could not get out of that opening area. I had no idea what to do. Sat there for 4 hours in that opening area, just those few screens trying to figure out what to do, and I just couldn't figure it out, and I said I gave up, and I was like 10 or something like that. So I'm sure I would love it now that I'm an adult, but I have such just a bad experience of getting so frustrated not being able to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do and Myst, that I've never actually gone back to play them. So hard to you, Mr. Krabs. You said, especially Oddworld Stranger's Wrath, which tackles colonialism, how the game takes place in the same universe, same time as the first. Oh, that's even better. I'll have to check that out. You're selling to them very much. Is Matt Walsh the Ornstein against the trans community? No, that would be giving him too much. Giving him too much power. He is like, what's like a dumb boss? What's like an annoying but dumb boss in the Dark Souls games? The Fugue Knight? Like is that the one in Dark Souls 2? Where it's like if you get close to it, it burns you and it's a pain in the butt to kill and everything. That would be the Fume Knight. That would be the one. Matt Walsh is the Fume Knight. Like you get near him, he burns you. He's off in the corner of this one little annoying section that you have to like run by a bunch of dudes with swords that you're just like, God, I'm just annoyed with having to deal with you constantly. His little troll army. And then you're just more annoyed. It's not a satisfying fight. You're just more annoyed that you have to do the fight is really the thing. So yeah, Matt Walsh is the pinwheel. Matt Walsh is the pinwheel. That would be a funny one too. But yeah, no, Matt Walsh is the Fume Knight of Dark Souls. Or the pinwheel. I could see the pinwheel. He's the who's the little crap dude who like shoves you off of buildings a bunch. Why am I blanking on his name? The guy who like you run into like shoves you off of like cliffs and stuff. I forget his name. Patches. He's the Patches. Matt Walsh is the Patches of transphobia. There we go. Yeah, Patches. Yeah, Eddie. Yeah, Patches. Let's see. Anyone else I'm mentioning here? Okay. Joshua Edwards, it's a matter of ignorance versus maliciousness. As a member of the LGBT community, it's rough but necessary. I can forgive ignorance, not maliciousness. Yes, exactly. I can forgive ignorance, not maliciousness. It's sometimes, sadly, ignorance turns into maliciousness, which is what's difficult. So, Lisa Simpson, do you read Star Trek books or play the Mass Effect games? Yes, to both. I am a huge Star Trek book fan. I've interviewed several of the Star Trek book authors. I adore Star Trek books. They are my favorite things in the world. I literally have 300, I'm not even kidding, I have 300 Star Trek books in a bookshelf. I have it's my biggest bookshelf and it's just Star Trek books in the other room. I adore Star Trek bookshelves. Una McCormick, one of my favorite authors of all time, not just one of my favorite Star Trek authors of all time. Mass Effect games, hell yeah, play the Mass Effect games as well. And I even played the Mass Effect games on stream about a year or so back, and I have a little Garrus right here. So I hope that answers your question. Got my little boy Garrus. He's Garrusing it up. Is that why he's named Garrus? Because of Garrison? Did I just realize that? That can't be right. There's no way it's that obvious. That's hilarious if that's the case. I kind of hope that that's the case. Because that's hysterical. Anywho. Chloe, hard to you. You said, I will forever detest Blair. I'm assuming you're talking about Blair White. For being the first trans YouTuber that I ever watched. I felt for some of her Reddit that delayed me in accepting that I'm trans. Yeah, and I mean, that's... Look, I don't want to get into a whole because I could go into a whole diatribe about Blair White. You know, there are a lot of people that hold Blair White with still some affection. And the reason is she was one of the first few prominent transgender YouTubers that gave attention to trans people, and gave I don't want to a positive feels like the wrong word, but a less antagonistic relationship to like discussing trans issues, right? She was there with around the same time as like Jazz Jennings and why am I blanking on her name? There's another big transgender YouTuber. But she was one of the first, right? And you know, I understand why that means something to people. Like having representation, as problematic as it may be, is meaningful. And so I understand where people come from, where they have some affection for Blair White, and are willing to give her more benefits of the doubts than she deserves. In a lot of cases, like people say, like, "Oh, she got that wrong, but she wasn't trying to harm people." At this point, though, I feel like it's very clear what her position is. She's a trans medicalist. She is a right-wing person. I think she, at least publicly, espouses right-wing views. I'll emphasize the publicly. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Whether or not she actually believes that is a different question. But she's willing to do it for money. And it's very clear at this point. It's very obvious at this point. I've done videos on it, on her work. And so she doesn't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. And she's pushing earnest, harmful views. And she's continuing to try to normalize that, not just in right-wing spaces, but elsewhere by being the token trans that people trot out to say, look, a trans person said it. That means must be okay. But I understand where some people's willing to give her more benefits of the doubts comes from. I understand it. I did the same thing with J.K. Rowling for a very long time. I mean, I'm on record. If you go back to, I believe, 2017, 2018, where J.K. Rowling was liking some turfy tweets and stuff like that, I wrote an article for The Advocate, because I was working there at the time, that was an open letter to J.K. Rowling. And in the open letter, I called her a friend and said, "Hey, this is why this is problematic. I hope you we can have a conversation." I even called her friend. I used a quote that Dumbledore uses, sometimes it's important to stand up to our friends. I'm paraphrasing there, which implies that she was a friend, at least at the time that I wrote it. And you want to give the benefits of the doubt to these people who mean a lot to you, who have done work to mean a lot to you. But at a certain point, you have to go and be like, I can't give you the benefit of the doubt anymore. You just can't. And it sucks. It hurts. It really does. I understand it does. I still hurt knowing that that I have to look upon something that gave me so much joy, Harry Potter, with pain now. It sucks. But you have to do it. And what sucks even more is that, again, talking about marginalized people, I'll just talking about it from a trans perspective, how trans people have to do that work and other people don't. I listen to, there's a few podcasts that I listen to that I love. Kind of Funny, I'll use them as an example. Kind of Funny, if you don't know them, I think they are the best and most welcoming and amazing video game community out there. I love listening to their posts. I love listening to their podcasts. I think the Kind of Funny program that they do there is amazing. If you love video games, go listen to them. And they have been very supportive of trans people repeatedly, I think, and done an amazing job. They even cited one of my articles that I wrote for GameSpot in one of their videos, which I think was amazing. But what's sometimes difficult for me to listen to and hear when I listen to them is that they'll discuss the new Harry Potter game. And yes, they'll point out, look, J.K. Rowling has a long, harmful history with trans people. But then they'll, have a discussion about, oh, look, I'm having fun and excitement for the game. And, they don't have to bear that kind of pain that trans people have to when they look at something like that. And I'm not saying that I have always been open about the fact that I am not someone who wants to support Harry Potter anymore, anything like that. But I'm not, and I think that you should have to wrestle with that fact that she is a TERF. You shouldn't look away from it. But there are people who don't have to engage with it, and that's what always frustrates me. Because my argument is less what I am at the point was in an ideal world, what would ideally happen? What I would ideally want is no one engages with Harry Potter anymore. You know, until J.K. Rowling sells it, a new showrunner, you know, someone else can like take over. Showrunner is the wrong word, but like someone else can take over the Harry Potter franchise. Until that point, ideally, I would love no one ever to engage the Harry Potter franchise again, ever. Period. To buy any of the stuff from it, anything like that. That's what I would ideally want. And then hopefully someone who is more trans-affirming can buy it and we can take the franchise. Something like, you know, like Star Trek or things like that, where like, you know, Gene Roddenberry's a problematic dude, Rick Berman was a problematic dude, but it's passed on as a franchise and it's not owned by one person and it can evolve into be more things and more inclusive like Star Trek has. You know, Star Trek has evolved into a franchise that's been much more overtly. Star Trek has always been progressive. It's always been woke, but it's been a show that's a series that's been more progressive as it's gone through time. Which I've always appreciated. That's what something I hope for Harry Potter, but that can only happen when J.K. Rowling never controls it anymore. So in an ideal world, that's what I want to have happen. What I think is more realistic, and it's sort of that debate, is I think at the very least, I cannot stop everyone from engaging with Harry Potter. It's still a multi-million selling dollar thing, whatever the phrasing is. What I would rather do then, if I can't stop that, which is again my ideal, I would rather use it as a chance to educate and force people to look at these problems. It's like, hey, if you're going to engage with Harry Potter, then you need to wrestle with the things that J.K. Rowling has said. And while I would ideally like you to not support her at all, if you're going to support Harry Potter at all, well, then at least learn about why she's harmful. Educate about it. And that's sort of my stance on it, you know? I don't know. It's difficult. I understand people having a much more hardened stance against it, being like, hey, support Harry Potter, screw you. I certainly understand that. But I also just, that's where I'm coming at it from, you know? So that's where I'm at. Sorry, I'm catching up on super chats, and also we're already hitting the hour, so I need to go eat soon. But let me catch up. I'm gonna run through some of these super chats and then engage with the chat for just a few more minutes. But I'm gonna quick run through this. Mr. Krabs, one last thing. The games are both cartoony and dark. Mr. Krabs, you have sold me on Oddworld. I will check them out. I promise you. Maybe I'll do a stream once I finish Zelda Ocarina of Time. John Vinnels, hard to you, said fun story, true story. Passes with the inspiration of the character of Dionysus in the Forgotten City. I could definitely see that. 100% see that. Very easily see that. Hard to you, Andrew Clegg, which, by the way, Forgotten City, another game that is one of my favorites. Andrew Clegg said, I don't know about Jordan Peterson until ContraPoints talked about him. I don't know about Matt Walsh until you talked about him in Against Timmy Bliss. Yeah, sadly, I wish I have learned much about people that I care to never discuss ever again in my life. I wish I'd never learned about Donald Trump. I never wish I'd learned about Matt Walsh. I never learned about any of these people, but sadly, especially if you're part of a certain community, you tend to have to, which is frustrating and tough. So it sucks, and I'm sorry, Andrew. But I am at least glad that you are educated and wonderful and an amazing human being. Super Desi, you said, I hope you're getting some good rest. You worked real hard these past few weeks. I appreciate that, Super Desi. Not yet. Today was a bit rough, and understandably so. I did get a message from a patron who had an important issue with the Matt Walsh video, so I had to re-edit it today, and it got stressful for extraneous factors. But the video's done. It's going to go up tomorrow. I just finished uploading now, looking at it, so that's good. So rest coming soon, not yet. But I appreciate you, Super Desi. It will be coming soon. Because I need it really badly for my mental health, to be very frank with you. Joshua Edwards, Heart to You, said, are you familiar with any of the tabletop Star Trek RPGs? Joshua, I've written for the Star Trek tabletop RPG. I've legitimately written for the Star Trek Adventures, Star Trek Discovery pack of, hey, Aaron, good to see you. I've written about it. I've written about, Star Trek Discovery. I've written some of the Star Trek Adventures, Star Trek Discovery things. So yes, I am very aware of them because I've written for them. Let's see. Catching up. Any more super chats here? Melvitica, apologies if I said that name wrong. I'm trans and have internalized transphobia. I'm not attracted to trans people because they remind me of what I don't like about myself. Do you have any tips? Number one, I will say it's okay. The first thing is like acknowledging that, and working through it. I think, I have similar, I had similar feelings about my own self, and You know, it's difficult because look, you don't have to be attracted to anybody. If you go around saying like I'm not attracted to trans women, that's the problem. And certain obviously like internalized transphobia can be the reason for a lot of that, and typically is that people say that. But you also don't have to be. I think mostly the biggest thing and the more important thing is not like looking for like I need to be attracted to this person. I think more work on yourself first and sort of like analyze where that feeling's coming from, you know, like self-analyze like why you're feeling that way, and be kind to yourself in that development, you know. Don't we need to be forgiving of ourselves sometimes. It's a lesson that I'm trying to learn too. You know, I don't have much body dysphoria when it comes to things like gender anymore. I'm very confident in my gender identity and my expression of my gender identity. But something that I do have still a lot of body dysphoria, I guess, about is the best word, is things relating to weight and fat on my body. It's something that I wrestle with a lot and have a hard time working through, and I'm very cruel to myself sometimes about it, mentally, you know, not necessarily physically, though sometimes too. I sometimes don't eat as much as I should, or don't eat as well as I should, or work out more than I should, because of that dysphoria, you know, or if I eat too much, I'm beating myself up over and over and over again in my head. So I think the biggest thing that we need to shift is learning to be kind to ourselves in those situations, and not like, and I think like the goal is ultimately to be healthy and happy with ourselves and our body. And the best way to do that is to be kind in the way we think about ourselves, and be kind to ourselves, be forgiving of ourselves for mistakes, or for, when I say mistakes, I mean mistakes in terms of like being, when we are mean to ourselves, forgive ourselves for that, you know? I think that's the biggest advice that I would give. Just be kind to yourself. So yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. So, all right, let's see. Catching up here. I just want to quick roll through these. Freddie, thank you so much for your super chat. You said, cheers for the chill stream back. Perfect background noise for what I'm doing. My Dune essay for my sci-fi course. Oh, amazing. Dune's awesome. Hell yeah. Kick butt with Dune. I still need to read the next 2 Dune books. I heard that at least the first 3 Dune books are worth reading, because they all kind of fit together. Like, it's not a complete story. I know what the point of like them being a takedown of the like the white savior and the chosen one sort of storyline. So I do need to get to them. But I've read the first one, but not the other 2 yet, so I will. Thank you, Chloe. I will watch Conan the Barbarian. Mwah. I appreciate you. And then I think there's one more super chat that I missed. Nope, I think I'm all caught up on super chats. Okay, it is 7. To add on to Jessie, healthy can mean exactly. I'm gonna repeat this. Eddie Beal says, to add on to Jessie's comments, healthy can mean a variety of things too. Healthy does not have to be a single appearance. Exactly. There is no one way to be healthy in your body, and there are numerous ways to be healthy in your body. And healthy in your body includes your mental health too. That's just as important, if not more important, to be quite frank with you. So to always keep that in mind. All right. Before I wrap out the stream for today, don't know why I'm talking like this. Few announcements. Number 1, tomorrow, big video, Matt Walsh video, over 4 hours long. Take your time with it. It's meant to be dissected in sections, as my long videos are, but I like to release them all at once because I think the arguments are best sort of given all at once instead of piecemealed. So take your time with that video. It's a rough one, but I try to make it fun. There's some cool things in there. Some things that I'm proud of in terms of the creativity behind it, not necessarily the topic at hand. So I am very excited about that. Aronok, let's talk, because part of the answer to that question, Aronok. So Aronok asked if we were going to be streaming this weekend. I didn't realize how much of a mental toll this Matt Walsh video is going to take on me. Between today and a few other things. My body has been like kind of crashing hard this week. Like, I finished the video, first version of the video on Tuesday, and uploaded it for patrons. Wednesday I spent like dead. I spent all of yesterday basically dead because I think my body sort of crashed from it. So I want to Saturday I might be down to stream, but it just sort of depends on my mental health. This weekend I might need to relax, so we'll talk. But speaking of which, on that front, Saturday might stream with Aeronach, might not. I will let you know. If I do stream Aeronach, I will be streaming some games, but it'll depend on my feeling on it. But if not, Aeronach and I will definitely stream at some point in the near future. As long as Aeronach's down for it. What else? Patreon helps pay the bills. Don't forget that. I'll be reviewing Lord of the Rings, the finale tonight. Excited for that. Yeah. I'll leave it there. I have other things coming up, but that's where my brain's crashing now. So check out the Matt Walsh video tomorrow. Very excited about it. I hope people like it. I hope it's helpful. Spend the rest of your night taking care of yourselves. Mwah. Sending you all love. Live long and prosper, my friends. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being